So here we are coming up on another presidential election, 2016, and again we have libertarians clamoring for a politician. So boring. This time it's Rand Paul, also known as the shell of Ron Paul. And I get this whole approach. You're trying to limit the power and destruction of the government in the moment, trying to work within the system, sell your soul and endorse a politician and vote. Yes, I get that approach, that quick fix Band-Aid approach, but that comes at a huge cost to the liberty movement in the long term. And that is this. You take the only thing that the message of liberty really has, and that is a grounding in the truth, a grounding in logical consistency and rationality. You take that number one weapon that we have in our toolbox, and you just totally ruin it. You blunt the tip. You muddy the waters and confuse the heck out of people who you're trying to convince. So you, as a libertarian, you realize why you're passionate about this subject is because finally it's a political worldview that's actually rooted in the truth, in logical consistency. Our minds love the truth. They grasp onto the truth and don't let go because the brain is naturally geared towards consistency over time, over the long term. That's why you can't lie to yourself when you know the truth and you are fully aware and conscious of the truth. Or it's very difficult to do so. You can't untake the red pill. You can't go back to sleep after you've woken up. Like, you could not convince yourself that the sky is pink. You just can't, because your senses know that you're lying to yourself. Your brain wants the truth. It's hungry for the truth. And if we lose the truth and instead we endorse a politician, what we're doing is losing the only thing that we have to win hearts and minds over. It's not easy to counter thousands of hours of government indoctrination and propaganda, but that's what we're up against. So needless to say, we need to not confuse those people who are trying to convince. And when you endorse a politician or when you endorse voting, what you're doing is confusing people because you're espousing two mutually exclusive viewpoints, two contradictory ideas. The non-aggression principle and property rights fly completely in the face of voting or endorsing a politician. And remember, people can't read your mind. They don't realize that you're an anarchist and you're just trying to work within the system come election time. No, what they see is somebody who hates taxes and talks about property rights and gun rights and bashes Obama, and then they say, I stand with Rand. And what does that do? That just makes you another loser with a preference, a political preference. You totally lose any steam you had, any moral conviction and logical consistency. Now it just comes down to some loser who compromises all of his values, literally appealing to the lowest common denominator to try to get elected. The fastest way to ruin your credibility is to endorse a politician. I mean, come on, it's a politician. He works in Washington. They make backroom deals, and there's a reason politicians have reputations for being liars and crooks and thieves. All right, so the last thing you should do is attach that stigma to the message of liberty, a politician. And there's also another problem with endorsing voting is you're legitimizing the system to people around you. You're trying to work within the system instead of saying, no, screw the system, I'm not going to beg for my freedom. It's like this false dichotomy. Say you're on a playground and this bully, he offers you a choice, getting slapped in the face or punched in the stomach. And every day he asks you this, and every day you think really hard about it. Oh, my face is so sore, but I can't take another punch. Okay, slap me in the face. And then he slaps you, and you cower in fear, and you just live a miserable life. And that's sending a message to the bully and to the people around you. One, it's that they can walk all over you. And two, it's that you are trying to work within the system. You have no spine. What you should really do is stand on principle over the long term. One, it's going to tell the bully that you don't endorse his system. You don't think a popularity contest can grant rights. And two, it tells people around you, well, that very same thing. People listen to the accumulation of your message over time. And if it doesn't make sense, if it has internal contradictions, people are just going to throw it away. What people need to see you doing is standing on principle year after year. Even if it costs you some elections here and there, what it's going to win you are people who are dedicated to the cause. People who are going to, after they've been bit by the bug, are going to spread the message. I mean, let's be honest, almost all of us as libertarian anarchists were statists at one time. But then We took the time, we went down the rabbit hole of logical consistency and found the bitter truth, and that is that government cannot coexist with human rights. It's not a preference, it's not a politician or a campaign slogan. This is the truth. It's a reflection of reality. So don't sell your soul, don't endorse a politician, because one, it's not going to work. It's been shown over time to not work. And two, you're just going to cripple the movement, and we're going to have incredibly slow growth because here we are just clinging to politicians. I mean, it's pathetic. No, stand for your rights and let people know there are consequences. If you have a popularity contest and you all decide it's okay to steal my stuff, no, I'm not just going to lie down and take that for another 4 years. There are going to be consequences. I'm going to defend myself with physical force, which is my right. So don't endorse the system. Exit the system. It's a false dichotomy. You need to stand on principle, and other people will see that and it will admire that, and you will win people over much faster than before.